Hey everyone, this is Josh Smith with Notebooks.com. Today we're taking a look at an ultra-portable from Lenovo. This is the ThinkPad X120e. Instead of your typical Intel Atom or ultra-low voltage processor, we actually are seeing an AMD Fusion E350. It's 1.6 gigahertz. We have a 4 gig RAM and a 320 gig hard drive in here. Models start around $400. This unit will be retailing, or it retails for about $500 depending where you purchase it from. The notebook is 11.6 inches as far as the screen size goes, so you get a pretty portable package. I'm going to give you a look around the notebook now. As you can see, we're looking at the left side. We have a Kensington lock slot, vent, HDMI, USB 2.0, Ethernet, and a combo mic headphone jack. As we look at the back of the device, you'll notice along the right side we have a VGA, and it is pretty close to the battery, but you can fit a standard VGA jack in there without any trouble. And then you'll also notice we have our common ThinkPad power adapter. This works across pretty much the entire ThinkPad line, which is really handy. And then along the right side of the notebook, you'll notice we have another USB 2.0, USB 2.0 sleep and charge, so you can charge your gadget up while the notebook's asleep, and an SD card slot. We do have the larger 6-cell battery, which sticks out the back a little bit, but it's a trade-off that's well worth it compared to the 3-cell, which sits flush. Not too much to see along the front of the device. If we flip it over, you can kind of make out there is a speaker grill here. Unfortunately, the speakers are a little bit muffled for our taste, but they will get you by on an ultra-portable notebook. Once we open up the device, we have an 11.6-inch anti-glare display. This is really nice. You can see some reflection, but not nearly as much as you would with a glossy display. We've used it outdoors without any trouble, and it handles overhead lighting very well. Up at the top, we have a low light sensitive HD webcam, which works well as well, providing an accurate image of our face even in low light conditions. Let's take a look at the keyboard. As we dive in closer to the keyboard, you'll notice right away that the keyboard borrows heavily from the X series line. We don't have a traditional ThinkPad keyboard which has no spacing in between the actual keys, but it's very close to the new X series and we really like it. It's an island style. We still have our track point with the cutouts around it so that we can easily access it, and that works out really well. We did notice that while the travel and spacing is nice, we did have a few times where the keys didn't register exactly as we would expect they would, but overall, very nice keyboard on such a small notebook. As we look at the mouse pad here, you'll notice it is a pretty small touchpad, and we do have very small dedicated mouse buttons. This works well, but if you're going to use it for extending periods for web browsing or moving around in a PowerPoint, doing a lot of mousing, you'll probably want to invest in a travel mouse. It's hard to compare a MacBook Air, which is a lot thinner, has a little more powerful processor, to the X120e. But in the end, they're both going to serve the same purpose. We're looking for a notebook that has a decent high resolution, small screen, something you can take with you with long battery life, and while the design doesn't really compare to a MacBook Air in terms of looks, you have two solid machines. One of them starts at $1,000, the other at around $400. If you're looking for something that's budget conscious to fit into your corporate IT environment, or as a student who just wants a no frills, no compromises notebook, the ThinkPad X120 is definitely one to take a look at. Head on over to Notebooks.com for a full review of the ThinkPad X120e to find out what we think of this device.